Hello everyone, welcome to this exciting new podcast for the second year students in sections 1 and section 3. In this podcast we're going to be covering the weeks of October 30th, November 6th, and November 13th. So let's dive right in, and if you have not already done so, go and get your agenda, your calendar, however it is that you are organizing yourself to keep track of all your assignments. Plonk that down because we are going to talk about assignments, people. So get ready. There's a lot going on this podcast. All right, so here is your master schedule for the weeks discussed in this podcast. And I am going to slowly back away and then come back with my costume because October 31st, the Tuesday, is Halloween. I've got my construction worker costume on. So yes, I will be wearing a costume on Tuesday, October 31st. I encourage you to also wear a costume, and I promise that if you do, I will take your picture and you'll be in the next podcast. So exciting. So Tuesday, October 31st is Halloween. Also, I would like to point out to you that on November 4th, it is open house. That's a Saturday. Why, Mary, am I talking to you about this? You've already been accepted into the college. Well, it's because we have a special plea for volunteers to come and help out at open house. We're looking for students to come and guide future students and their families around, show them the facilities, talk to them about how great the program is. So you're asking yourself, why should I volunteer for open house? Well, first of all, you will get to meet new people, which is always exciting. I am pretty sure you will also get a free snack and bonus marks in summer. Okay, no, I made that up. That's not true. No bonus marks. But your teachers will be eternally grateful if you come. So please consider volunteering for open house. It's Saturday, November 4th from noon, 12 to 4 p.m. If you're interested, come talk to me or talk to Judy or talk to Donna. All right, so that's a special plea. Let's look at the week. The first assignment that I would like to talk to you about is that you will have class time in the week of October 30th to work on your presentations in teamwork and communication. So come to that class prepared with any materials, any documents, and all of your ideas that you need to work on your group presentations. So that is on teamwork and communication, the week of October 30th. Also on October 31st, your reading reflection number 2 is due in Intentional Educator. That's worth 15% of your final grade, so a pretty major assignment. And Zian has given us some tips about that assignment. So the instructions are, as you remember, to choose an article, a video, a TED Talk, any kind of document like that to reflect upon. And Zian is encouraging you to not use one that has already been used in any of your courses, because discovering new resources, new information is part of your professional development. Remember that your reading reflection is a college level assignment, and so it should be presented properly in APA format with a cover page, an intro, a conclusion, in-text references in APA format as well. So all of those are little tips. Also, so APA format you see there. Also, Zian reminds you that the instructions for the assignment are to link theory with practice. So any examples that you've experienced in the field or in your own personal experiences with young children would be good to bring in. And lastly, Zian encourages you to not just explain the theory. That's not what she's looking for. And if possible, use more than one example to connect to the theory. As much as possible, make this personal and meaningful for you. So those are some reminders and instructions from Zian about your reading reflection number 2 in Intentional Educator. All right, there is also a lot going on in the Intro to Practicum course that week. So first of all, your reflection on the LGBTQ workshop that you attended on past day is due on Thursday. That's worth 10% of your final mark. Also, the lesson plan for your planning assignment is due on that day, 10% also. Judy reminds you all to come to class on Thursday, November 2nd, because that is when all of the activities will be taking place, and that's a very important day to make sure that you attend. And you will also have time during that class to work on your instructional video assignment. So lots going on in Intro to Practicum. On Friday in Approaches, you are supposed to read chapter 11 to prepare for that class on in the Approaches course. All right, so that's it, chapter 11. Let's look now at the week of November 6th, and I think I'll take off my costume. It's a little bit distracting. My mustache is flapping in the wind. So, week of November 6th. Still lots going on in Intro to Practicum. So, you're following the experience. Reflection is due. That's worth 5% of your assignment, as well as your supervisor observation notes are due, also worth 5%. So all of that is following up on the activities that were implemented the week before. There will be an in-class assignment on that day worth 10% of your mark. Remember to bring the textbook. That's important. And you will also have time next in the week of November 6th to work on your instructional video. In Approaches, your draft philosophy is due on the Friday of that week, so that is an important step in completing your actual philosophy assignment. All right, last but not least, let's look at the week of November 13th. So in Approaches on Monday, you will have time on Monday, is that Monday? No, on Tuesday, you will have time to prepare for your presentations. So that's important. Come prepared once again to your Approaches class on the Tuesday with everything you will need to work on your presentation. That's important. You also, in the Intro to Practicum course, your instructional video is due, so that's important. In Approaches on the Friday, you will have a reading that will be posted on Leia, so that's important to stay on top of that reading. And then in Approaches, also your philosophy assignment is due, and that is worth 15%, as I said, of your final grade. So there is a lot going on in the next 3 weeks. I hope this podcast helps you to stay on track of that. If you have any tips, of course, about staying organized, managing time, balancing work and life, and all the other things you people are balancing, send those tips along to me, and I will share your excellent advice with your fellow students, and you could become a podcast star. As always, post your comments on YouTube after you viewed the podcast. Remember that you can always get a full transcript by clicking on transcript underneath the video. And of course, stay tuned for the next announcement, because that will mean that an exciting new podcast has been uploaded for you. That's it. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, everybody. And happy Halloween. I look forward to seeing your costumes. Bye.